Hi there, me Barry again, and here today I'm going to talk to you about the Y.S.Park Brushes. So, if you can see this way, I'm going to lean. So, there's the standard collection of brushes. I have the tortoiseshell paddle brushes, the dragon brush, or more commonly known as the Denman, and those come in two types. I'll get into that in a minute. Alright, so I'm also going to be going along with the catalog again, so you can follow along. So the first one in there is the Ion series. Now these are typically called Denman brushes. I'm not exactly sure why, but most people know them as that. Or vent brushes, and that's simply because they have vents. So what's the difference between these two, other than color? Not much. One of them is ionized, the other one is not. So this one's meant to be a little more ionized, this one's not. And these are just your standard vent brushes, Denman brushes. So this is the lower price point out of all of them. So for someone who's just looking for a vent brush or a Denman brush, not looking for anything particular out of it, then those guys are for them. Again, they're the cheaper ones, and more people will buy those than the other ones, just because of that. So that is the first one, that's the T09. So on the next page, we have the Dragon Air Styler. So the difference between this and the last one is really, it's a more complicated tool. So I'll show you. So this one is one piece, that's it. It has the little fibers here which take off a little bit extra of the ionization. Other than that, pretty much standard. With these guys, whole nother story. These ones are very, very intricate. So they come in the three different colors. There's no difference between the colors, it's just color. The middle brown one, though, makes the best point. So if you'll notice on it, there are three different colors for the teeth. And if you, I don't know if you can hear that, but they're actually all made out of a different material. And that is simply because each different material adds a little bit extra or takes a little bit extra from the hair. So either it be ionization adding in a little bit of positive energy or removing a little bit of positive energy. So much like the other one, you also have the little frill here that removes a little bit excess. But the main difference between this and the other one is that this one comes apart, and it's really, really simple. So you can actually remove this little thing that goes in the center, and that actually makes it firmer. So with that in, we have a very hard Denman. We take this out, close it back up, and now we have a lot softer. So for older ladies, people with sensitive scalps, sensitive heads, a lot better. Or if you just want that more malleable sort of brush, you've got that. Now, the obvious point behind this is that it's for cleaning. So really, really nice and handy. But just like all the other tools in the Y.S.Park line, they have the vents through them. So the Ion series, the T09, they also have that as well. But it's to a more minor degree, whereas this one, it's a lot more serious. So just like with the brushes that I'll talk about later, they actually have holes in there. I don't know if you can see too well. Little holes right in there. So it actually helps push the air out through it, so you get some drying action underneath as well on top. Although that's really one of the minor things for this brush. It's a lot more important on the other ones. A really, really neat little trick about these two, because you have the different types, you can use this brush in a really, really neat sort of way. Anywhere you're going within the first centimeter of the hairline, just using the first brush will get you that perfect type of volume that you need. Now you go 2 inches back, and now you're going to use the first 2 set. And then as you go back to the 3, and then so on. And what's really neat about that is it actually gives you the perfect sort of curl for the volume. And it's not something that we typically get taught in school, but a really, really handy little trick to know with these things. So another really cool thing about all of his tools is, just like with the other one here, you have that same shape on the brush, and that's really so it can fit in your hand. But what's neat about that shape and the point at the bottom is that you can roll it in your hand, or you can get a good grip. So it's really, really nice for your grip. They also have that textured material, so again, if you have oils on your hands, it's not going to slip. And again, these ones, not the wooden ones, but the plastic ones, are made out of that imido plastic, and that's imido. It's the hydrophobic, the hydrophobic, heat resistant and chemical resistant, as well as antibacterial and antifungal, which is a nice thing, but not a lot of people are going to put too much into that. But yeah, heat resistant, really, really great. Even if you've got the blow dryer right in there, it's not going to melt or warp anything. And they actually don't even warp slightly. They stay completely as is. So really, really great. So again, there's those 3, pink, just for pink, black, just for black, and then this one really is the colors that it is to demonstrate the difference between the teeth or the bristles. So yeah, that's it for the Dragon airbrush. So on the next page, so you've got the first one, the T09, then you've got the DB24, that's what I just covered. And then on the third page, you have one that looks almost identical to the Dragon airbrush that I just showed you. So this is the DB24 we were just looking at. And then this is the Lap 32. So on close inspection, they're pretty easy to tell apart. One has really thick teeth and bristles, one has narrow. So what this is for is actually a massage brush. This is what's really neat. It's meant to massage the back of the head, or just the head in general, at the sink. Really, really great. I mean, obviously you can still use this as a regular Denman brush, especially for thicker, curlier hair, or even really, really fine hair. Because it's so soft, you're going to be able to get a good lift out of that hair without having to actually pull on it. Because I know I used to work in a little old lady hair salon, so I'm quite familiar with, they don't want too much pulling, they don't want to lose any more of their hair, so you can still get a good thing out of this, and also give their head a little massage as well in the process. And just like the other ones, this one comes apart for cleaning purposes and for stiffness. But yeah, that one also comes in a variety of colors as well. But yeah, that's its main purpose, is a massage brush. And so, like the other one, they alternate, but to less effect because it's meant to be a massage brush, but really, really neat tool. And I find most people look at this when they see it thinking it's just a regular Denman brush, and then they'll, oh, whatever, it's, not too special. And then you tell them it's a massage brush, and then they're even more interested all of a sudden. So, yeah, really, really great thing, and fabulous to have for your clients who are soaking at the sink, just running it down the back of their neck, over their head. Really, really fabulous tool. Next we go to the Carbon Tiger brush. So that's what I've got back here. So you'll see the sizes, pretty standard sizes. We have a couple extra just for those in-betweens. I take this one. So the Carbon Tiger brush is made out of the wood, the same wood that Mr. Park uses for all of their materials. And what's special about their wood is not the wood itself. The wood isn't a special type of wood, but what's special about it is that they're not deforesting to make these. So they plant their own trees and then they grow their own wood for them. So the planet isn't losing. So that's a really, really nice thing these days. This wood is black because it's carbon coated. So its intention is to remove some of the static from the hair. So the Carbon Brush series, I don't know if you can see, it has boar bristle and nylon bristle together, all together. So what that does is it gives you a a lot more smoothing action on the cuticle of the hair. That's the purpose of this. This is ideally meant for straight hair and shiny hair looks, although you can get curly hair with this. You can get, you can do what you want with it. It's more meant for that just because of its special things. And I'll explain why the G series is better for curl, but still, you can still get a great curl out of this. With all that boar bristle, you're getting a good grip in the hair, right? But really, that's what's smoothing over the cuticle, and that gives you that extra little shine. So what's really cool about Y.S.Park brushes, not only are they balanced, so that they're a lot easier on our hands to hold all day, a lot easier to just flip around. They're hollow to take out some of that extra weight. Those holes in the handle as well. Not only do they take out weight, but they actually give your fingers more purchase. So again, like the combs aren't going to slip out of your hand with oils in your hand, this thing will never slip out of your hand with anything. It's got a nice texture to the wood, which allows for purchase as well, but then you have all those extra little holes, which just make it so much easier. And really easy to flip and twirl because your fingers can grab in anywhere. Really, really neat. So that hollowness also goes down the center, and this is a really interesting fact. When you take other barrel brushes, like here's one here, they essentially have just a ceramic barrel, and then there's just a wire inside with all of these nylon bristles just kind of sticking out. But when I put the blow dryer over this and go down, the air, because this is just a big perforated tube, the air just literally passes right through it. So the air doesn't touch anything on the sides. It's literally just going to touch where it's going through, right? And little bits get spun around in there, but not quite a lot. That's what's interesting about the Y.S.Park brushes, is that because they have this hole down the center, and it's easier to see on the other ones, but underneath the bristles is where the hole from the tube comes up. So by air going in here, it actually forces it out those holes rather than just allowing it to go straight through. So it actually ends up drying the hair underneath as well as on top, which can actually half your blow dry time. And that sounds crazy, and it sounds like something we're just trying to tell you to sell things, but as a hairstylist, I've done double the amount of blow dries in a day with these brushes. They really are that phenomenal. Now, one thing to note about these brushes in particular is that they have a lot of good grip, and they get right in the hair. So for a new student or someone who's not too familiar with sectioning and taking the proper time to do what they need, can be kind of difficult because it will tangle in the hair for people who aren't using it too well. So again, a brand new stylist, you might want to warn them about that, but anyone who's going to train with this thing is going to become fabulous fast because you really need to have your sectioning skills down, and it really, really encourages better hairstyling skills, which is really, really nice. So yeah, that is the Carbon Tiger brush. So again, comes in the plethora of sizes. Next we have the Super G series. Now the Super G series is my personal favorite. This you're getting from my cold dead hands. I'm never letting it go. Really the most fantastic brush I've ever used in my life. Now the difference between it and the Carbon Tiger, really quite simple to look at. So you'll see that on the Carbon Tiger we have the boar bristles and the nylon bristles together. So that doesn't allow for as much grip out of it. Whereas with the Super G series, you'll see that we have separate boar bristles, and separate nylon. Now rather than like the other one just having one nylon sticking out in between, each one of these is 4 nylons clumped together. So you get a lot more grip out of that. So putting this in the hair, you get a serious grip on that. And obviously, much like when we're decorating a present and we put those little strings on and we take the scissors and we drag along the one side, we're essentially scraping the whole bottom side of it, and that's what causes it to curl, because it now has more material on the outside and less on the inside, so it curls over. We're essentially doing that with hair in the same fashion. So by using this, you get a crazy grip on that hair. So rolling that down the hair once, rolling it up and letting it sit, oh my God, the curl you get out of this is just phenomenal. You also get a great shine out of it. Obviously not the same degree of shine that you get out of the other one. However, if you work this one through the hair, you can achieve the same amount of shine. So for me, I find this one a better purchase than the other one, because you can still do straight hair with this. You can actually get really amazing straight hair because you get such a grip. Now, obviously, someone with a slight wave to you know, a almost non-existent wave, this isn't going to get them that straight look that they're used to. They're always used to having a whatever. But for curly-haired, like Moroccan girls, really thick, coarse hair, you're going to get an amazing straight out of this because you're getting such a good grip on that hair. Just amazing. So much like the other one I was explaining, it's got the holes here. It's hollow in the center. Weight balanced. Really nice. But on this one, you can really see those holes that I was talking about in the first one. So by just having air go through, it actually forces out. And so it's a lot more dramatic on this one because you've got a lot more air escaping through. And obviously, when we're trying to get a curl in the hair, applying heat, removing it, and letting it set is what allows that curl to set in the hair. So by having this much space and gap in between those holes allows for more airflow. So you get a curl sticking a lot better, and it goes a lot faster. Really fabulous, but you cannot get a better brush than this. So again, they all come in the standard sizes, from small to large. Really, when it comes to the Tiger brush and the Super G series, really the larger ones sell the best, and then the medium ones. The smaller ones, they don't sell quite as well. It's more specialty people who will take those. I personally use this one on my beard, so I mean, great tool, and it's really good for getting a good grip in there, so I can get some straightness out of it. But yeah, unbelievable. Really, once you understand how much is put into these tools, it really makes a little more sense the price of them. They seem quite expensive, but in reality, you're buying one of these tools, and that tool is going to last you for the rest of your life. And that one tool is going to allow you to get extra clients per day. It's going to allow you to give a more sleek look. It's really just top of the line. And, oh yes. Last but not least, we have the tortoise brushes. So tortoise brush, paddle brush, some people call it. Kind of annoying in hairstyling because we don't really have set terms for a lot of things. People will, oh, I know it is this, so I'm looking for this. These are the most expensive tools on the line, in the whole line. And really because these have a lot more work put into them than everything else. So first off, what's really neat about this, let me get another brush to show you. There we go. So on a regular paddle brush, we have just, there we go. You see it just goes straight like that. So when I'm putting this by my face, my hand is getting really close to the face. And that can be uncomfortable for people. So on the Y.S.Park, you see it comes out. So while I'm holding this, my hand is away from the face. Really fabulous that no one else has even thought about that. But such a small thing can make such a big difference. And I mean, for the comfort of the client, and that's the most important thing, right? So outside of, you know, its specific uses as a paddle brush and whatnot, you still have the hollowness, like all the other ones. You have the holes that go through, carry through. I don't know if you can see some of the holes. There we go, yeah, little bits. So it actually pushes it through like a nice vent. Really, really great. There is 4 different brushes, all of them slightly different and really specific to whatever they're looking for. So for reps and people who aren't hairstylists, these can be some of the most confusing tools that are on there. But really, really quite simple. So basically you have the straight up 4 bristles. These, you'll notice they have no nylons sticking through them. And so the difference between these is the bristle itself. So you've got a coarser and a smoother. So this one will be better for getting shine out of really curly, thick hair. This one will be great for just anyone brushing their hair. Anyone can use this one. Obviously someone with really curly hairs, Moroccan hair, is not going to want to use that. That's when you go for these. So then the difference between these, you might be able to see they have nylon as well. So that nylon is in there to help detangle hair, really, and to get a better grip. But really, so these are for more curly hair, people who are doing a lot of African American clients or Moroccan clients, those kind of things. Really curly Jewish hair, this is the way to go. Fine hair, not so much. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Y.S.Park line. I really just didn't cover the chignon brush. The chignon brush is, it's made out of the same wood that we have. It's really one of the least special out of the line. He created the brush because, you know, people like it and they need it, so he's got one. There's not a lot you can affect about that kind of brush. Next you've got the horsetail brush here, and that really, it's more of a gimmicky sort of thing. People like the look of it, and it's just a neck duster, you know, and it's really quite expensive. However, people who have that look in their salon, I was unbelievably surprised how many people bought this thing. It just set at the price alone. But once you have that aesthetic you're trying to achieve, people want that, and this is a very popular line for that, especially in amongst the celebrities and whatnot. And I didn't cover the neck pillow here. The neck pillow is really, really an amazing tool, but it's also one of those things that's kind of hard to sell, only because a lot of people have some sort of neck thing that they fit in the sink already. Why are they going to go out and find a different one? Basically because this one is the most special you can get. It is antibacterial and antifungal. It doesn't rot. So any other pillow that goes underneath the head, unless it's made purely of gel, will eventually have to be thrown out because they get bacteria built up inside of them. This guy doesn't. So you buy it once and it's going to last. You can't see in the picture either, but over the back part here, it has a slight lip that comes out before it goes down, and it actually supports the head in the back of the sink, so it makes it a lot more comfortable. Really, really fabulous tool. It comes in 2 different sizes, so there's a wider one and a thinner one to fit the 2 different standard size necks of sinks. That is that. And then the tint brush. I couldn't find an open one, but I might find another one. A really, really fabulous tool. The bristles in it are kinky. So like this one is, they're all just straight. Anything in there is just going to slip right off, especially you're using this on colors and whatever. Not a lot of grip in the product itself. But with the Y.S.Park one, you have kinked things, so it actually holds a lot more pigment in the brush itself. The next thing about the brush is that it has a curve to it, just like this does. But the purpose of it in the tint brush is that you can lay it on the counter and it keeps the bristles off of the desk, so you don't get color all over the floor. And then also because of that, it's hard to explain really, but most stylists, once they kind of understand what you're saying, they'll get it. Because it has that, and again, I'm pretending this is the color brush. because it has that dip in it, it actually allows you to hold your comb underneath. Because typically when we're painting with one of these, I'm dipping it in, I'm painting, and then I'm flipping my whole wrist over to separate. That does a lot of pressure. I actually have tendonitis now because of this. So that is, it seems so stupid, but when you're doing this all day, that actually hurts a lot. So what's really neat about these brushes is that you would have the bristles here, it has the bend there. It allows you to comfortably hold a comb underneath. So I can paint, separate, paint, separate, paint, separate. Really, really nice. He's just put that much thought into every single tool, and really that's what makes this line so precise and so amazing. I have yet to see a good hairstylist pick one of these up and, you know, be unimpressed. It really, most people, they come in, they buy one, they come back next year and they buy all of them because it's really the most fantastic line. All you have to do is go onto YouTube and look up Kim Kardashian getting her hair done. These tools are in the background. All of the best hairstylists on the planet use these tools, and there's a reason for that. So enjoy the book, enjoy the reading, and I hope I helped you out. Thanks.